The number one single greatest frustration that men experience in modern dating is they have to settle for women who are far below their physical beauty standards. And if you've ever looked at a guy like me and thought there's no way that he should be pulling those girls, then you're in the right place. Because before you go any further, just pause for a second and look at the girls on the screen. Society says that guys who look like me don't deserve to date women who look like them. But here's why this matters to you. The biggest problem most successful men face isn't that they can't get women, it's that the only women they can get are the ones that are kind of mid-looking, the ones they're not really attracted to. This is the number one thing that guys tell me on coaching calls. They say, look, I can get the mid chicks, I can get the 5s and 6s, but I'm struggling to get the 8s and 9s. Dear Lord, help me. I just want a girl who's like actually hot, like a girl who actually looks good, but they can't. So what happens? They settle. Maybe this is you. Maybe you're settling for the best you can get. Maybe you tell yourself, oh, she's good enough. You're living in cope. But deep down, you're not excited. You want better. Resentment in the relationship builds and it drains you, okay? This video fixes that. There's no generic advice, no theory. This is an A to Z strategy for dating women who actually look hot. No swamp monsters, no land whales, and no war pigs. And you can get these beautiful women even if you're an average looking guy like me, because I'm gonna install for you the same strategy that I use. Now this covers everything from looks, money, your location, your social media, your confidence, and how you leverage your time. And all these factors work together to level you up and the women that you date. By the end, you'll understand exactly why you're stuck dating women around the 5 or 6 range and exactly how you can level up to get the 8s and 9s. I recorded a video on my computer. Let's hop into my laptop right now and get started with the video. Let's go. This is my strategy, how me as a very normal, average-looking guy am able to date stunners with good personalities without paying for it. So what you're going to learn by the end of this video is 1, why dating has changed in modern times and why the old methods don't work, what is actually working in today's ultra-competitive and ultra-difficult dating market, more difficult than it's ever been, quite frankly, and of course, my extensive A to Z strategy that involves maximizing your looks, your status, your social media, the dating market that you choose to date in, your time, and much more. It's a full-fledged strategy. I go by Casey Redbeard on the internet. My real name is Casey Brown. I am good friends with pretty much all the original Red Pill and Pickup Artist guys. Fresh and Fit are actually my business partners. We have a joint venture together. I teach dating for them in their private community. Good friends with Owen Cook. This is Rollo Tomasi. I know most big people in the industry, and who cares? I'm a guy who dates some beautiful women, but whatever, enough about me. This is about you. So, part 1, how modern dating has changed. There's a couple of things here I jotted down. Feminism and MSM means mainstream media influence. Women's standards have risen, and yet they offer less than ever before. Social media has completely changed everything. That's actually the biggest one. And then P for P, which means pay for play. I hope you understand what that means. So cultural shifts due to feminism and mainstream media influence. Women are brainwashed to hate men. I think this is very obvious. I don't think I need to elaborate this too much. Men are garbage. Men are trash. Your For You page is probably just women, kind of bashing men. Women in the West are no longer feminine. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This should be elementary basic stuff. Women's standards have risen, partially because they're going to college and getting jobs and making as much money as a man. They no longer need men for financial responsibility. Some of the other feminism cultural shifts cause them to hate men, and then their standards go up because they're like, well, if I'm going to date one of these evil, oppressive men, blah, 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 he has to be perfect. And then social media has changed absolutely everything. So social media has given what I call comically high standards to women. It's absolutely insane. You see this on my friends and my business partners' podcast, Fresh and Fit, where the girl goes like, he's got to be 6'5" minimum and make 50K a month minimum, all these types of things. And then another big shift because of social media is that dating has moved from primarily in person to online. So someone like, let's say Jenny in the 1980s, she would go to work. There'd be a couple of schlubs at her office that maybe flirt with her. She may on the weekends hit some little bar in her suburb. A guy who makes 120, 150 grand a year, adjusted for inflation, might be a catch. But now the 2024 version of Jenny, of course, her Hinge, her Bumble is popping. She's getting hit up by guys in Dubai, millionaires and stuff like this. And the other thing is your online presence, and now in today's day and age, is every bit as important as your in-person presence. This is not my quote. This quote comes directly from Tristan Tate, who is the single best player of our generation. And the last thing is P for P, pay for play. The vast majority of women, I would say, like, in the 7.5 to 8 and above range, are involved in some form of pay for play. OnlyFans, sugar daddy, outright selling their bodies, something like that, or they're just only going out with guys that are absolutely loaded. So what does all this mean? Well, it just means that dating is more difficult and, quite frankly, weirder than has ever begun with this whole digital stuff, this emphasis on social media and dating apps. It's changed a lot. It's a lot more bizarre and different than it ever used to be. And of course, the average man is now invisible, and women are expecting more out of a man and offering less than any other time in history. There are fewer good options left for us men than any other time in history. So, enough of this doomsday stuff. Let's talk about solutions, how to have success. This is my full-fledged A to Z strategy. We're going to go to every single one of these things. I believe that you can't really ignore any one of these. I wish I could give like the, XYZ method, just say the one funky pickup line, or just do the one funky dating app opener and it all works. It's really hard for me to simplify this. The main one we're going to focus on in this is number 3, social media maxing, but all of these are important. You can't really skip any one of these if you want to truly be able to date the 7.5s, the 8s, the truly beautiful girls, the girls that you're not going to get tired of after being intimate with them just one time, but the girls are going to excite you and stimulate you long term, and that also have good personalities, because there's not that many of them left. We need to Looksmaxx, whatever you want to call it, maximize our appearance. Geomaxx, seek out better, more favorable dating markets. Social media max, we'll talk a lot about this because more people are meeting online dating apps, social media than in person. Time max, once you have a good social media, you can actually use an online dating virtual assistant to swipe on the apps and find girls for you. That's when the shit just really, really takes off. You got a confidence max. You got to work on your social skills, because the social skills you got right now, you think they're amazing, they probably ain't it. And money max, because at the end of the day, most beautiful women are just going to want to be taken care of, just, because they got it like that. Why wouldn't they be? Hey guys, back to the video in 1 second, but if you're tired of swiping through the dating app garbage bin looking for a quality woman, then we can help. We will build you a high status profile that attracts better matches. Then we will place you with a dedicated assistant who filters for beauty, values, and long-term alignment, handling all the outreach and booking dates for you. They're literally logged into your swiping apps and IG, and they do all the heavy lifting for you. Go to my Instagram and message me the word assistant if you're interested. All right, back to the video. The first one, Looksmaxxing. I'm going to go through this very quickly. We're going to spend the most time on social media, because looking high status on social media is the best and most universal. And you can only Looksmaxx and do some of the other things to a certain point. Also, I'm clearly not the authority on super Looksmaxxing. Although I did get a hair transplant, it's not great. It's not as dense as I would like it to. But look, I have a hairline. I've done some stuff. So number one thing, you do not have to be a Chad. So all the black-pilled people out there, they're just completely and utterly wrong. I feel very, very sorry for them. You do, however, have to hit the gym a lot, be in shape, and style yourself properly. You have to be what I call a universal 6. And if your height or some weird circumstance is holding you back, and maybe you're older or whatever it is, and you can only, like most guys with hitting the gym heavily, growing a beard, getting a hair transplant, getting veneers, doing a skin regimen. I think I already said, working out a lot, building up their body, getting these big old arms that I have. Just kidding. They're obviously not that big. Can get at least to a universal 6 or at least a 7. When you are a universally across the board a 6, you will be a 7.5 and 8 to some women. I'll say that again. If you are universally at least average, like you have to be in shape. You can't be a fat slob. If you're a fat slob, you can still go to some easier dating markets. We're going to talk about geomaxxing. So even if you're older, even if you're a bit out of shape, and you still have high standards for a really physically beautiful woman, you're not willing to lower them, there's still hope for you. But for most of us, you just need to get to what I call about a universal 6. And the reason why is this. Look at all these girls. If we were to put it to a vote, some guys are going to think, she's not that dark, but the dark-ish skinned black girl with the braids is the most beautiful girl here. A lot of guys are going to think the super skinny, like traditional Norwegian, Swedish looking blonde. I personally go for the thick, big booty Morena Latinas. But here's the thing, right? These women, now I know they're all like, beautiful examples, but my point being is like the same way you'll be in a group chat with your friends, you'll be arguing, no, this girl's hotter, she's thick, she's not thick, she's fat. Oh, this girl, she's too skinny, she has no ass. The same way that our opinions on what's the most beautiful girl vary a lot, women's opinions matter too. So if you can just be, like for me, if I go to a region of the world where there's not a lot of white guys with blue eyes, most guys are short, indigenous, brown looking, even though I'm very average looking, I'm like a universal 6 in that market, or even without leaving that, even in New York, even in Miami, I'm still even though I'm like a subjective 7.5 to certain girls, because at least like, I'm not going to like take my shirt up, but at least like I'm in shape. I have, like when you have low body fat, you can see your cheekbones, you can see somewhat, semblance of a jawline. I don't have that strong of a jawline, but you get what I'm saying. So there's hope. Body, we talked about this, go to the gym, train hard 6 days a week. Face, lower your body fat, like I just said, get to about sub 15% body fat, and your face will really start to show the structure better. Grow a beard, get a hair transplant, and listen, you can do jaw filler or implants or whitening teeth. That's all up to you. Get a rhinoplasty if you have some ridiculously big nose. That's all up to you. Skincare regimen. You can screenshot this. Vitamin C, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and maybe a light retinol will make your skin instantly look way better. I used to have permanent eye bags. My shit's looking pretty good. I also got, good lighting right now and stuff too, but my shit's looking pretty smooth. Fashion. You want to dress like James Bond. You want to dress like Tristan Tate. I call it business casual. I don't call it business casual. That's the name. Here's some options. Again, you can screenshot this. I'm going through this quickly because I don't want us to die of old age. There he is, Mr. Tristan Tate himself. Baby blue shirt, gray pants, navy blazer, or you could do the black, white, and navy, black and navy. There's all these things. Look, you can screenshot this. I also talk about this, in other, videos of mine and stuff like that. But you compare, black shirt, gray slacks, black slacks with a navy and burgundy blazer and a white shirt. Like there's a lot of combinations you can make. When you dress like this, people, but especially beautiful women, and when you look like this on social media, they think you're rich, they think you're successful, they think you're powerful, they think you're confident, okay? The next thing, Geomaxx. Nothing will change your results in your dating life with women more than your location. So if I could gift you 5 or 6 inches of height, if I could gift you, double your money, give you more Riz, give you a Brad Pitt jawline, none of that shit would affect your results and give you better results than simply just changing your location would. Yeah, like I said, nothing has a more powerful effect on your dating life. Now, does this mean that if you're in America, it's hopeless and you must become a passport bro? Unless you're new here, maybe it's no secret. I am a said passport bro. I lived in Colombia for 7 years, then Brazil for 2 years. I picked up girls from, at this point, the Amazon to Africa, Tennessee to Taipei. Like I've been fucking everywhere. No, you don't have to leave America. All this means is you may, depending on where you live, and maybe not, you may have to hunt a little further from home. For instance, if you're not from South Florida, you won't know these places, but a girl in Kendall or Coral Gables is night and day difference from a girl in Brickell or South Beach, Miami. These are, I'm referencing Southern Florida. Basically, I'm saying from like the heart of Southern, like Miami, like Brickell, South Beach, like the hot area. Basically, all the girls there are doing OnlyFans. They're spoiled by, champagne and yachts and all these guys, taking them on, I don't know, helicopter rides and all this stuff. By just sourcing a girl a little bit further away, if you're in Los Angeles, I don't know, going to like San Bernardino or something like that, just, 45 minutes in a car away, could get you girls that are night and day difference in terms of how stuck up they are, how realistic their standards are. You can also try to meet foreign women in the USA. A trick for this is you have to be in a big area where a lot of foreigners live, a big city. You can go to Bumble, and I think Hinge does this too, and set your language preferences to Spanish or Portuguese, and then you'll meet Latina women, right? You can also just update your strategy or upgrade your strategy to survive in a difficult dating market. So listen, some people can leave, and listen, you have to be honest about what your sexual market value is. If you know that you're a guy, you're a handsome guy, you're a young guy, or even just average looking, like I said, if you're the universal 6, that can be a subjectively 7.5 to some girls, you got a little bit of cash, you saw yourself well. If you know you're that guy and like you don't want to leave America, don't leave America. But listen, if you're 55 and overweight and you want to date a really beautiful girl, yeah, you're going to have to hit up, Philippines, some certain cities in Brazil. I call it my small town strategy. Go where girls are a lot more realistic with their standards, right? All right, here's the big one. We're going to focus this the most because this is the single best strategy and it's the most applicable to everybody, which I call social media maxing. So we did what we did. We did Looksmaxxing, and what was the other one? I forget. Oh yeah, Geomaxxing. We did Geomaxxing and Looksmaxxing or Looksmaxxing. Now we're on to social media maxing. So your social media is your resume. Okay, it is your business card. It is, like Tristan Tate said, your online presence is every bit as important as your in-person presence. And do you want a resume that, looks like this when someone, goes to your page, goes to your social media, your dating app profile, your Instagram, or do you want your resume to look like this, guys, right? Now, before we even get started, I hate this stuff. Social media is really dumb. I was like the anti-social media guy, but it's super important. And it also optimizes your in-person interactions as well. Now you're thinking, how could, social media optimize my in-person interactions? I told this story in a YouTube video before, so I'll make it quick. I call it the random business card example. Let's say you and your boy Casey Redbeard, you and I were talking about building some Python-based web scraper app, and we're talking about it, the features and stuff, and then some random guy butts in and says, "Hey, listen, I don't mean to butt in, but I overheard you guys talking about you're doing this like thing with like a Python web scraper. Well, I'm actually a really good developer in Python. Here's my card." We're like, "Okay, cool, thanks, man." We go back to our conversation. We're like, "Who was that random guy? I don't know. Doesn't matter." And then later, I'm sitting at home. I have this random business card. I'm like, "Who was that guy? Like, he just introduced himself really quick, left me his card." And then I look up his business card. Option A, let's say he was, his LinkedIn says he was 6 months intern at a small web design agency in Uzbekistan. Or option B, I look at his business card and his LinkedIn says head of product development at Google, former lead project manager at Microsoft, involved with OpenAI. I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy? And, or he's, big on Instagram. He's creating content. He has, 200K followers, blue check. Alex Hormozy follows him. I'm like, oh shit, that guy who just said hello real quick, like that was the guy. Now I'm going to really, really want to call him. All based on his resume, all based on social media. So this is like, if you're talking to a girl in like a day game situation, night game situation, even just a quickie, because sometimes girls are like, they're on their way to the gym, they're on their way to class, to work, whatever it is. You only have a second to stop them. You say, "Oh, hey, I know you're busy. I thought you were cute. Oh, I got to go. All right, quick Instagram. All right, here's my Instagram." She gives you her Instagram real quick. Now you go from like this random guy that, if it was a phone number, you're just a random guy who said hello really quickly, exchange numbers, you text her. Depends how good of an impression you made. Your in-person game matters a lot. But if you have this super sick social media, which we're going to, show examples of later on, where you're well-dressed, well-networked, hanging out with friends, doing cool stuff, doing very, very high-value stuff that successful and rich and happy and social people do, she's going to be a lot more interested. So your online presence fuels and like upgrades, increases your in-person, the power of your in-person presence as well. Now, first things first, I do love cold approach. I think day game, especially, like just going up to girls, the supermarket, shopping malls, whatever it is, and just stopping them and introducing yourself where there's no nightclub or loud music and you're sober and it's well lit. I think that's the purest form of game. I absolutely love it. I still do it. A lot of the best girls I date still come from that. Actually, probably more come directly from Instagram, if I'm to be perfectly honest. But I love it. I have a lot of respect for it. But the reality of in-person game is this, day game, it's great. It's a very, very poor ROI. That means return on investment of your time. You're trolling the malls, you're walking around, there's very few hot girls. The few girls you find may have boyfriends. They may not be single because, like hot girls in the daytime, they're taken. And then night game, you have terrible club dynamics, drinking, having to stay out late. The music is too loud to even talk to people. You can't even get access to people because of VIP tables. They're expensive. It's like funny. They create an environment that's supposedly to be social, yet they rope everybody off. They separate everybody. They make it dark as fuck. They make it all revolve around liquor, so you're not even meeting people's real personalities. They're drunk. They don't remember you, and it's too loud to even have a conversation. The advantages of social media is it's almost like working on like fixing up a house. If you know real estate, anything like that. You do the work once and it provides passive income. Now, you got to do work more than once, but if you have like, an amazing photo shoot, that could hold you off depending on how many photos. Like when we do like our premium VIP photo shoots for clients, we can get them up to 50 pieces of content or more. You post one piece of content a week, you don't got to worry about the social media, taking photos and stuff again for a whole year. It allows you to do your best approach every single time. So when you have this super curated, really good profile, you show all your most attractive attributes that you wish you could just brag about in person, but you do it in an online format where it's normal to flex. So I can't just go up to a girl and say, hey, excuse me, I thought you were cute. My name is Casey. And, just so you know, I've spoken on stage before in front of hundreds of people about marketing, and I have this really cool friend group, and we go to these like big rooftop lounges, and sometimes when we go out to eat, there's actually like beautiful girls sitting with us, and I've also done this, and I won a martial arts tournament, and like, you can't just say that to a girl. That'd be really, really weird. But in this online format, flexing, bragging, whatever you want to call it, is normal. You also get access to the hottest girls in your city. You can find them. I have other trainings and stuff where I talk about specifically finding girls on Instagram and stuff. We'll talk about more how you can get like more free training and stuff from me. But sometimes walking around the daytime, you won't just see the hottest girls. Nightclubs are kind of a mess. And often the best and most high quality girls aren't on dating apps. Now, they absolutely are. Sometimes I hate when people shit on dating apps and they go too hard on shitting on the dating apps, because you can get some amazing finds. You just got to, sort through a little bit of muck first. It works amazing for networking and making friendships or business connections with other guys as well. Quick aside, again, you can go down the rabbit hole and research me more after this, my YouTube videos. I used to do these 4-to-1, 5-to-1 ratio, like female to male, 5 females to 1 guy ratio, Dan Bilzerian style penthouse parties in the city of Medellin. The way I was able to throw these parties, get connections on having like a penthouse to use and guys to help, contribute money, resources with throwing these parties. I met every single one of those guys on Instagram, built a WhatsApp group of 50 people. This works equally well because think about it. If you're like fixing up commercial properties or speaking on stage, traveling on the world, staying in luxurious locations, flying private, whatever it is, that's equally attractive for networking, business, building male friendships, as well as being super sexy to a woman. With a good social media, you can instantly emanate a social circle from scratch in any city you go to. This is an example of an ad. Like I said, Fresh and Fit are my good partners. They're my good partners. They're my good friends that are also my good business partners as well. We have enough about that. But listen, I get a lot of you guys don't know Myron Gaines. Don't focus on this too much. I've posted more simple versions of this, but this is an ad. So I paid money to Instagram. I said, hey, I want you to show this story ad to men 21 to 49 years old that are American expats living in Fortaleza. Fortaleza is a city in Brazil. I spent like $20 to Instagram to run this ad as a story ad. So just random guys would see this. It says, if you're looking to connect with cool guys in Fortaleza, or it says, I'm looking to connect with cool guys in Fortaleza. If you're into entrepreneurship, red pill, etc., then send me a message. And it's a picture of me and Myron. Again, you don't need to be with Myron Gaines. I don't want guys, no, but this wouldn't work for me. Like, just dress well, look cool. You'd be surprised. You can meet people anytime you want if you have a cool social media. But if they click over to your page and you look like a fucking schmuck, then, this stuff's not going to work, right? So a quick case study with Stephen Smith. So this is a guy, I've talked a lot about Stephen before. So here's his before and after photos. Again, we're talking about social media maxing. Think about it. Which guy would you rather hang out with from a girl's perspective? Which guy do you think the girl would rather date? Obviously, the one on the right. Here's just some, more photos. Luxurious environments. I probably overdid it with the girls, to be honest. In the city he's living in Medellin, sometimes girls like to get competitive. I wouldn't say that, I would do this for a new client with, quite as many. I think I went a little bit overboard on the social group with the girls, but you get the point. Celebrating life, cheersing, toasting, hanging out with cool friends. Actually, there I am in the photo with him. And Steven's results are pretty wild. He actually sent me a, crap load of photos. We would die of old age if I went through all the photos he sent me, but I picked a couple of like the choice ones, a couple like the hottest girls that Steven's been able to meet once again. And again, all due respect to Steven, He's a very super normal looking guy. He's even, kind of chubby in this photo, right? So you can see this stuff works. And you combine that with geomaxing. His dating market was Cali, Colombia for the majority of that. Of course, guys can still get good results in the USA. Don't put too much, oh, this only works overseas. That's not the case. I have tons of testimonials of guys in the United States that this is working great for. Please don't get hung up on that. I don't want to get sidetracked. You can find testimonials more about me later on. So how do we build this high status social media profile? How do we social media max? Well, the secret is presentation. Presentation. So both of these foods right here are identical when they hit your taste buds. This is chicken parm. Okay, or at least we're going to assume that, let's say it was exactly the same, right? Why would every single one of you, I said, which chicken parm do you want to eat? The one on the left or the one on the right? Why would every single one of you guys pick the one on the right? It has better presentation. The contrast is higher. It's more well lit. It's more colorful. It has the nice garnishes. It's a sharper image. The resolution is higher. It's less blurry, etc. It is the same food. It's the same thing to your taste buds. It's the same thing. Just like we go back to the photos of Steven, right? Let's go back. Yeah, he's the same guy. He's the same guy. He's just presented very, very, very differently, right? So the same thing, that's how like fancy restaurants kind of into paying a lot to eating food that's like overpriced when it tastes the same is because they present it very well. So we talked about it with food. We have another example here. Two people just sitting in a chair. But again, the presentation. I call this the Fantastic Five. It's lighting, fashion, grooming, location, and making a nice expression. You can get more free trainings where I talk about this. You don't need to like write that down or anything. But for now, we're just talking about presentation. It's two people sitting in a chair. But why does Steven look badass, high status, super cool, etc.? And this guy, not so much? Well, it's grainy. The color grading is way off. He looks like he has an orange complexion. His fashion is basic. The location is super basic. He's on his lawn versus this. It's at a rooftop lounge, the pool behind him. He's posed well, etc. Same thing here. This is, again, I'm comparing this guy to this guy. And yes, I get it. Steven is younger and better looking than this guy. Not all of my analogies are perfect. I couldn't find, a clone of Steven here, but let's just go with it. Super basic restaurant with super basic girls, super basic friends, taken on a super basic camera with super basic lighting conditions equals a super basic photo, super basic fashion. Here we have amazing fashion, amazing location, amazing lighting, amazingly beautiful girls. Everything is amazing. The whole Fantastic Five, which again was lighting, fashion, grooming, location, and facial expression. All five of these are good. Now, I will talk about this a bit more at the end. What most of you guys do when you build your social media is you use what is called a camera roll profile. You're like, hey, it's time for me to post something, or hey, I got to make a Hinge or a Bumble. Let me just, put something together. All of your photos just exist on your camera roll. Photos like this do not happen by accident. You have to plan this out. You have to say, hey, guys, we're all going to go out to this place. We're all going to dress super well. I have it right here. Let me see if I can find it right next to me. Oh, well, I can't find it, but I'll take it off the computer and I'm using this. An LED light panel, right? So this like clip-on LED light panel that I'm waving at the screen right now, you have to have someone hold the LED, light panel. Like, again, like I'm saying, this would never happen by accident. This would never just exist in your camera roll. You guys have to go out and start taking photos that were planned and contrived with intention from the beginning to have all these components like I talked about, the fashion, the lighting, the grooming, etc. Nobody just has these photos lying around by accident, okay? Now we're going to go into more of this in depth. The biggest part is locations. This is how you look high status and cool and rich and important, okay? Taking your photos by water is a very, very good idea. I'll show some examples here. For some reason, when you take photos, either directly in a pool, hanging out of the pool, by the water, anytime you can get a photo, hotel, rooftop, pool, something like that, it's going to bode well for you. Yeah, more examples of photos taken in water. They look very luxurious. I love rooftop lounges and balconies. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. Here's some examples. More examples. Fancy restaurants. This is my go-to as well. I'd say the rooftop lounges and the fancy restaurants are my go-tos. Hey, there I am with Steven again. They're my biggest go-tos. There's Steven again. High value activities. These are things that, are kind of somewhat off limits for the average man. They're off limits for brokies or people that aren't cool, connected, or whatever. Yachts, jet skis, giving a speech. You giving a speech, whether it's a video or a photo to a room full of people, instantly communicates to the woman, confident, leader, has some skill that is worth teaching. Maybe it means you're successful. Maybe you're loaded, you're rich. It just, I already said confident to own the room and talk in front of people. It just communicates so many things. And I've actually had women tell me, I only responded to your DM, or I only followed you back on Instagram because you seemed really interesting. You were giving speeches, you were doing podcasts, not my red pill podcast, other podcasts. I don't show that to girls, right? But like, they're like, oh, all that stuff may be interested in, like think like, damn, who are you guy? Like who is this guy? So the 5 types of photos you need to put together this said social media, high status social media. Again, we're still on social media maxing. Again, there's more stuff. Let's take a break. About a half an hour in. Again, when you watch a video by Casey Redbeard, you're going to just get overloaded with value. That's just my style, okay? We'll get through this. I'm planning about maybe another 20 minutes for this. We'll wrap up, okay? Maybe even less, okay? Because social media maxing, probably even less, because social media maxing is the most important. So the 5 types of photos you need are the high resolution portrait photo. Any photographer knows what a portrait means. It just means that it was taken on a DSLR camera with a 50 to 85 millimeter like focal length. Don't worry about what that means, but you come out really good looking, sharp, lighting from the sun, ideally natural lighting. Hobbies make you look fun. Surfing, skiing, yachts, lifting weights, things like that. A group shot, you're social, you're with friends. You can have the social proof shot with all the girls at the table, but don't overdo it. Again, I think with Steven, to be perfectly honest, I've been doing these photo shoots for about 2 years now. These super extensive photo shoots where I build the entire guy's social media. Steven's one of the first ones that I ever did. Since then, I've calmed down on overdoing it with too many girls. Now it's just 1 or 2 girls near the back, but don't ever be sitting next to the girl. Don't ever have your arm around it. Have the girls be in there to add status and value, because beautiful women see you're with other beautiful girls, makes them curious, right? But even just with the boys, look at these guys. They're well dressed. It looks like they're about to get on a helicopter and go to Jurassic Park, or close some huge, business deal, something like that, right? Again, we talked about the high value activities, giving a speech, playing a musical instrument in front of people, being on a jet ski, yacht, etc. And then the physique shot. We talked about this before. You don't need to be, Brad Pitt or Channing Tatum. You need to be a universal 6. And listen, you could also be not even a universal 6 and go to, I think, we're going to talk more about this. Oh, we talked about the geomaxing stuff, but yeah. So if you could just get a personal trainer, even let other areas of your life detract a little bit. You don't work as much. You don't make as much money. You're not quite as social that month. And you can just get a sick physique shot. And we're not going to talk about in this video, but you can actually use Photoshop and other apps to cheat and make your muscles look a little bit bigger. So even if you're almost there and your physique is kind of good, but not quite enough to be there, reach out to us. We can help. We can make Photoshop is amazing these days. No one will know. We can make you, look like you have about 5% less body fat, and you have, an extra 5 to 6, maybe in 10 pounds of muscle, in a way that looks super, super natural. And having a physique shot as your main shot on a dating app or pinned to the top of your Instagram profile can change your life. Could go from getting 1 or 2 matches a month to 1 or 2 matches a day or more. Time max, okay? How an online dating virtual assistant changed my life. So these are screenshots of women who have followed me back on Instagram. These are women who are not on dating apps, women that have, for the most part, private conservative social medias that my virtual assistant found through techniques that I taught them. And again, if you want me to train a virtual assistant for you or run this whole thing yourself, we can talk about that. I'm going to talk more how you can get a hold of me. They would follow 20 women a day. They still do to this day. Follows about 20 women a day. And as you can see from these screenshots, anywhere from 6 to 8 follow back. And I know you can only see the tiny photo, but I think even from this tiny photo, you can tell these are top-notch women. These are not, 6s. These are, super gorgeous girls. And this is actually in a non-favorable, very difficult dating market like Sao Paulo, Brazil, as the majority of these girls are in Sao Paulo. This is not a great dating market. Oh, Brazil, it's so easy. Going back to the geomaxing thing, some people think like, oh, you just, be a passport bro and everything's easy overseas. Wrong, incorrect, wrong answer. There's a lot of cities where, because they're so big and metropolitan, or for whatever reasons, I don't want to get off on a tangent, dating is still really, really difficult, not much better than it was in the United States. Sometimes they have xenophobia, negative stereotypes towards gringos. That would be like, Medellin, maybe to a bit lesser extent, Buenos Aires, not good dating market. So when I got my social media on point, I don't have time to talk about this in this video, but I also added what I call funny, charming video content. This is pinned reels of me doing, going on entertaining rants, telling funny stories, acting out funny skits in video format, so she can hear me talk. So she knows that the way I talk, isn't like this, but the way I talk is actually like this, in a much more masculine, a much more confident tone, right? Between that, the photos we talked about and the video content that I kind of referenced now that I don't have time to get into now, it went from 1 or 2 girls following me back out of 20 or sometimes 0 to about 7 or 8, as you're seeing here. The next thing. So that was time maxing, online dating virtual assistant. They're great. Reach out to me if you want to know more about that. Confidence and social skills max. Okay. Sorry to break it to you, but the social skills you got ain't it. Even with this amazing social media, you eventually got to meet the girl in person. You eventually got to go on a date. If your social skills aren't up to par, then it's not going to work. She's not going to be attracted. She's not going to want to date you, sleep with you, all that stuff. Now, especially you remote workers, you entrepreneur guys, you live in your little glass box on the 14th floor. You don't talk to many people. Maybe do a quick little Zoom call. You live a very isolated and antisocial lifestyle, and your social skills suffer as a result of that. So here's how this is gonna be real quick, because a lot of you guys don't think you need this. You guys should be paying attention to this even more than you were paying attention, taking notes of the other stuff, because everyone is kind of biased and thinks that their social skills are even better than they actually are. And I hate to break it to you, but they're probably not. I hate to say it, but they're probably not. So we're gonna go over this pretty quickly, but pay attention. Cold approach pickup is lifting weights for your social muscles. So if you want to get ripped in the gym, the same way you can get a 6-pack and get ripped in the gym, you can get quote unquote ripped social skills. Okay. You practice a lot. Storytelling. Next time you're out with your friends, the next time you're meeting a new group of people, if you have a funny little anecdote, something happened to you, tell a story. Get in situations where the social pressure is put onto you and everyone's looking at you, and you tell your stories concisely with charisma. You hit the climax and the punchline with good timing. That is a great way to train your social skills. Do cold approach pickup, and with people you already know, try to tell more stories. Also, make a WhatsApp group, plan shit, okay? What I like to do, what I tell some of my clients that I coached, for this whole, better social skills, better social life stuff, is set a time on your calendar. So whatever it is, it's 7 to 7:20, or I don't care, 8:30 to whatever, 9 o'clock. That time is reserved on your Google Calendar for social time. You're adding new people to the WhatsApp group. You're networking. You're reaching out to new people, guys and girls, on social media. You're planning out, hey, we're supposed to take that trip to Bangkok. We were supposed to go skiing in Aspen. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Follow up with people. Reach out. Make shit happen. Set time on your calendar to be social. Be social more often. Bro, you guys ever notice if you go on a first date after not dating for a while, you're kind of nervous and you may screw up the date. But if you're going on first date, boom, one after the other, you're on it. You don't get nervous. Your social skills are super, super high. Even if the girl is boring, you can carry the conversation for the two of you. That's what happens. Meditation changes the structure of your brain. It shrinks the amygdala, which is the portion of your brain that is responsible for fear, fight, and flight. And it makes larger the part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is associated with concentration, relaxation, and empathy. So this is not align your orange chakra with your yellow one. No, it's not that airy-fairy crap. Meditation is real. And this stuff works. It has been studied by the Ivy League. They can literally see it on a brain scan. The amygdala shrinks, the gray matter in the prefrontal cortex gets bigger. Meditation changes your brain and controls your anxiety as well. Money Max. This is not a make money course. At this point in my life, I don't sell any make money opportunity. I have nothing to sell you in regards to making money. Maybe at some point in the future, but at this point, no. The best opportunity I see right now is helping influencers monetizing their audience. That's partially what I'm kind of trying to help Fresh and Fit do. I'm not like, the lead. They have like another marketing guy, but I'm, involved in that process. Learn digital marketing, network, join masterminds, and most of all, pay for education. You guys who think that courses and whatever are all scams and waste of time, you're morons. Like you getting scammed on like a course you bought that was bad one time and then losing faith in all courses would be like your middle school girlfriend was a hoe and would kiss other guys, so you gave up on dating forever because you had a bad experience with your girlfriend in middle school. Like I get it. Some, course creators and coaches suck, some are good. I have nothing to sell you in terms of like a make money online course, but I'm just saying learn digital marketing, make money remotely, and like I said, help influencers monetize their audience. You can search growth operator or growth partner, searching like how to be a growth partner or how to be a growth operator for influencers. Some content should come up. Now, money buys time and opportunity. So at the end of the day, when you have money, right, you can hire an online dating virtual assistant. You can run multiple Instagram accounts. You can run multiple dating apps. You can have this person chat with the girls and only filter the girls after they responded to 5 or 10 messages. You can have them chat all the way up until a video call is scheduled. You can have the time to, stroll around the malls and stuff if you have some financial freedom. And then also at the end of the day, most girls that are a 7.5 and above, aka the truly beautiful girls. Yes, 7.5s are beautiful. Make no mistake about it. 7s are not average. 7s are gorgeous. Well, 7.5s, 8s, in that range. Most of them will not enter into long-term relationships with a man that doesn't make at least 150K in like a Western country or at least 80K overseas. So understand that. Look, if your chemistry is amazing, you provide her with an amazing experience, you can make her fall in love, you write love songs to her and she loves musicians and you're her physical type and you got it going for you without the money, all good, more power to you. I just don't see it very often. I just don't see truly beautiful women that aren't dating guys that are, pretty well financially set and more or less entirely supporting them in the relationship. I just don't see it. I don't see it very often. That's my entire A to Z strategy. If you want more help, you can go to my Instagram, which is RedbeardRants1 right there. Again, RedbeardRants1. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's also a link in the description of this video. And you can message me the word audit, and I will give you a personalized social media audit. I will look at your Instagram and say, hey, this photo sucks. This photo's weird. Delete the photos of your ex. Stop posting photos of stuff that isn't you, blah, 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 blah. The lighting is good. Give you a full plan. I can even help you find photographers in your city. I can give you a fashion consultation, tell you how to dress. I can tell you what types of photos you're missing, what types of photos you need more of. And again, it's a free audit. Now, I'm at the time you're watching this, which is, I believe it's November, it's around the 11th or 12th. I don't know the exact day. I am still doing all the audits personally, okay? You want to get on this as quickly as possible because number one, my time is extremely valuable. I can't, do this all day. I may just stop doing this altogether and have to charge at least, $200, something like that for one of these free consultations because I give a ton of value. And even if we maintain them free in the future, it's eventually going to be outsourced to someone on my team and they'll do a great job, but they'll probably only do, 80% realistically as I would do it. So if you want to get on this and have me personally do the audit myself, and listen, if you're watching this later and it's someone from my team, I'm sure they're doing a good job. But all I'm trying to say is don't delay on this. Message me the word audit and we'll give a full audit on your Instagram. And we can talk about other stuff. There's other stuff in this strategy, the Geomaxxing, the Looksmaxxing, time, money, online dating, virtual assistants. That is the best way to get a hold of me is through my Instagram. And again, like I said, if you just message me that word audit, I will give you a free audit and we can talk about all this stuff and further if you want some more help. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and subscribe to my YouTube for more free game.